Rated B for black as fuck. We are now recording.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Rated B podcast. My name is Carlton Brock. I'm joined by Desmond and Anthony. Desmond Brown, Anthony Bennett, Bennett Brown, Brock, Brown, Bennett Brock, Brock, Bennett Brown, whatever combination you prefer. It's Rated B. It's the three of us.
That was great.
Talking about video games, pro wrestling, and blackness.
And blackness. Yeah, for sure.
Pretty much it.
So,
Rated B for black.
So, with that being said, not to quote Cody Rhodes, what do you guys want to talk about?
A lot.
Let's talk about. Last week we talked about a lot about
story time with Rated B podcast.
Last week we talked a lot about wrestling, and we are going to do round two of our greatest professional wrestler of all time today. We're going to be talking about the international wrestlers. But before that, I really want to talk about one thing. I went and looked at all the video games I have on my to be played, on my things that I've completed, and I looked at what was in my cart, what was available in my cart just for the games I have. Microtransactions are crazy in 2024.
Yeah.
I went to buy Dragon's Dogma the other day. It had 100 pieces of DLC. If you want to change your character's appearance, it's $2.50. Crazy.
So,
I
have heard a lot about this, but I'll let you continue.
I'm not an annual gamer. I pick up WWE 2024, maybe. I might pick it up this year. I got 2023. I didn't get one since 2016. All right.
Same.
Now I know Anthony here is a NBA 2K aficionado.
I hate that I am, but yeah, sure.
And I know you got something to say about it, so I'm gonna give you the floor.
Oh man. No, I'm honestly at the point right now to where I feel like the whole entire gaming industry as a whole, and with this in regards to these microtransactions, are starting to it's starting to get really, really, really irritating. Because for one, especially when it comes to sports games, because for one, I'm a sports guy. I love sports. Like everybody else watch cartoons, like I watch sports. You watch Cartoon Network, I watch ESPN. Like that's all I was brought up around was sports. So that's a different effect to me than what it may be to someone else who just kind of plays it casually or just doesn't really care about it as much. My thing is, ever since this whole thing with I'm blanking on the name and I shouldn't be. It's Fortnite. Everybody wants to be a Fortnite. There's all these other games that never did this a day in their life, and then the moment Fortnite came out and Fortnite had all these different skins and all these different people that you can play with in the game and all these different guns and all these different things that make you play better, that helps your player play better. All of these other sports games started to adopt this. This is Madden, this is 2K, this is NHL, this is all of these other sports games that are top sports games, especially when it comes to Take-Two. Take-Two, I have a real strong issue with right now because every single year there is always an influx of prices. It's inflation every single year. When I played 2K15 and 16, it would cost you $20 if you wanted to build your player to a good spot to be able to play the game. Now all of a sudden it takes $70 maybe, even $100 to me even make sure that your player is in the correct form to be able to play the game and play it in terms of to the level that you could be actually competitive in. Because you got these guys that are streamers, you got these guys that play 2K legit for a reason, for you know what I mean, for a way of living. On YouTube every day, they're making money off of it. These guys have nothing but money to blow towards this game, towards these players. You can go and you can watch as many videos as you want to on 2K or 2K games and NBA specifically. And you look at some of these top guys, and these guys have 600, 700, 800,000 VC sitting in their account that they're not doing anything with it. And then when you actually buy the game and you look at the pricing, it's $100 for 450,000 VC. So just imagine you're spending 200 a week on a game that you have no business spending that type of money on. I'm coming in and I already have to spend $70 just to play the game. And you're telling me I have to spend another 100 just to even be competitive. If I don't spend another 100, I'm gonna get my butt whooped on a routine basis. And then even still, then this year you added a battle pass to the game, which you have to spend another $20 on that alone. And then if you want to skip levels to add things to your player, it's even more money to go from level 1 to level 40. It's almost another $100 just to get from level 1 to 40. If you don't play the game routinely and you get any type of progression, it's getting to the point now to where the game is starting to be unplayable. It's becoming unenjoyable for people who want to play 2K or even Madden. In order for me to be competitive in Ultimate Team, you mean to tell me I got to go drop $300 on the pack? And then at that, if I drop $300 on a pack, I have my odds to get a very good player or slim to none. You're telling me I got a 0.5 chance to get a 100 overall player, and you're telling me this pack is $100 to spend on, and I spend that $100 thinking I'm gonna get this player, and then I get a 60 overall.
I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm paying for diapers right now. As soon as you say $300 for anything on a single game, I'm out.
It literally, like I said this. Like I said this last night. I played with one of my close friends that I grew up with, went to school with, and me and him always played 2K. We've been playing 2K since 2K14 together. It's becoming to the point to where I don't even want to buy 2K almost anymore because the game is just not enjoyable. It's too much money that you're investing into this game. It's too much money. Every season changes. Your player doesn't play the same after every season. It almost forces you to spend more money. And if you continue to stay with the same player, you know what I mean? Unless you actually, you know what I mean? Unless you play the game daily, which I don't. I have a normal 9-to-5 job. I'm not a stay-at-home gameaholic. I just don't do that. I used to be when I was in school because I had no priorities. Like I didn't work. I didn't have anything to do. Especially during the summertime. I could stay up till 6, 7 a.m. in the morning and play Call of Duty, and I could play 2K, and I could play Madden. I can play all of these games and this is before the paywall stuff started. I mean, we knew what Call of Duty was paywall. I mean, there's, all these different things, but then once, like I said, Fortnite changed the landscape for a lot of the games, and it changed it in a bad way. It didn't change it in a good way because all of these games and all of these teams they're now believing that they can do something in regards to being a Fortnite type game. Battle passes and season passes and spending money to upgrade a player, spending money to do this, spending money to do that, spending money to wipe your butt. I'm not doing that. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense that there's all of these games here that are sitting here that they want you to do. They want you to play the game, but when you play the game, they slow your progression in order for you to spend money, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
How do you really feel? How do you really feel, man?
I'm trying to had a whole short right to yourself, bro. I just let you have the floor because
I just let you have the floor on that one.
Bro, it's
the fact that you did that without saying the F word, by the way, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, bro. For sure.
I can feel it just rolling on your tongue.
Oh my god, bro.
No, I'm not even gonna lie. The microtransactions have been.
Turn the fan on.
Microtransactions have gotten crazy, in a lot of regards. When it's done right, you can see it in the fan base. You can see it in the community. For example, you got what is it? Helldivers 2 right now is doing things crazy, and they have a battle pass system. But the way they do battle passes is that it's $10 if you want it, but it's not necessary to play the game. It's like your progression isn't tied to that. You can go and get whatever games, like whatever guns or armor that you want. Once you buy the battle pass, you still have to earn like the medals to actually unlock the stuff. But
Right.
for the most part, there's the main battle pass that most people have not cleared through, that still has guns that you're gonna get, that still has armor that you're gonna get. And I get the feeling there's gonna be like a new free seasonal battle pass that comes out in some way, shape, or form. And you can always go back to the old ones, unlike with Fortnite, where you have to do it whenever. Or like do it while it's relevant, or it's not gonna work. So you could go and get those guns that you want, get those armors that you want, and you're also earning the currency in game. But going back to what you were saying about Dragon's Dogma, as much as I agree with you that there shouldn't be that much that it shouldn't really be in the game, that you shouldn't have microtransactions in a $70 game, a $70 single player game, mind you, and you for sure shouldn't have any battle passes in a single play in any type of like $70 game. Like, you already paid the barrier of entry to earn it. Like, why do you like? I already own it. Why do I need to continue paying more money to just be able to play it in the way that's intended to be played?
Right.
And I want to say something about that. Single player games, I don't have a problem with DLC. I really don't. The Cyberpunk DLC came out 2 years after Cyberpunk. I still haven't played it yet. I heard it's fantastic. It's got Idris Elba, but I got 20 games on my backlog. It's number 14. It's gonna be there in a minute because I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right now, and I got a 10-month-old, which means that I'll be playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth until like October. Not gonna lie. Don't ask me to play nothing else. It ain't getting played.
Gaming in your 30s, man.
Gaming in your dude.
That's a whole story.
I know. One of these days, I want to make my own separate video just to rant about gaming in my 30s.
Write it up. Write it up and record it.
Because between the 9 to 5, the wife, the baby, other responsibilities, my prime gaming hours is from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Thursdays. That's prime gaming hours.
That is such a specific time frame.
That's a real specific. You know why it's so specific? Because on Fridays I work from home. So if I look like shit when I'm working from home, it's okay. I can't look like shit in the office.
I feel it.
You know what I mean?
I
still work off. I still on Friday, by the way, in case my boss is listening, I still do all my work. I'm still active. I'm still doing everything I need to do. I just got dark circles under my eyes because I was up till 1 a.m. gaming.
Check.
Need to throw that check mark out there.
Yeah, just making sure everybody know you're not on your bullshit.
I'm not on no bullshit. I'm not, and I hate the people, by the way. Side note, gaming in your 30s. If you gaming in your 30s and you working from home, but you're not working, you're playing the Xbox, you playing the PlayStation, you playing the Switch, you got that on, and you're playing the game when you're supposed to be working, and I'm calling you on a Teams call, and you pick up, and you got the controller in your hand, I'm done with you. We beefing. We beefing because I'm too responsible of an adult to do that.
No,
I'll write people off for that. I get so mad. I've had it happen a few times. Hasn't happened at my current job. I'm not snitching on nobody. I want to make that clear too, in case any of my bosses are listening.
Well,
let's move on because I'm gonna talk about this DLC and I'm gonna be mad. But DLC is fine. But microtransactions, No,
Well,
I'm with Anthony. They're too wild.
well, I'll say this: Dragon's Dogma's deal, microtransactions, they're all completely optional. They're like Capcom's been doing this for like 5 years now, putting it in, and I don't really think it's like a developer necessary mandate. I think it's a publishing mandate. Make the stakeholders happy, whatever, because other people are doing it, so they have to do it. Because if you really look at it, it's $2 for a key or $1 to redo your person. Everything you can do for real world money, you can go and get and earn in the game and unlock, and you're not going to have to ever spend money for it, is from what I've gathered. It's just mostly there for people that either A, don't have enough time to go and do that, or B, are too lazy and don't want to go and do that. And so they do this. So like, I'm not saying that it should be in there, but if that's the way you're going to justify it as an option, then, that's the option.
No, I definitely agree with that. I'm okay with DLC being DLC for if you want different types of clothing apparel. You want, you know what I mean? If a character has a different type of
If it doesn't affect the game,
right? If it affects how you play the game, then it needs to go flat out.
Unless it's a single player game, and is a huge DLC. Like I would play, like for example, Pokemon, big DLC, game size DLC. You're basically getting another
DLC,
the Elden Ring DLC, the Cyberpunk DLC. Final Fantasy 16 is having one come out this summer.
Monster Hunter, whenever Monster Hunter Wilds comes out. By the way, that is going to be getting a review, and we will be talking about it. I might just buy it for everyone here. Did Sport freeze? I think he froze.
Yeah, I just see his thing. Oh, I think he's coming back.
All right. There was one more point that I was gonna make before we moved on. He had to fix himself. I think something died. Sport, you're muted. Oops. No, I'm messing up. Still messing up. Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I was just messing up.
Yeah, sorry about that. My computer just decided that it was going to push every update possible. Episode 2 already is a wash.
Yeah, it's episode 2. That's what we'll be looking back at. Episode 25.
Yeah. Episode 2 is gonna be that time that Sport's computer died in the middle of it.
Let's look at it this way. We'll be so good at this in a month that we're gonna get all these hiccups out the way. It's better to have it out this way.
That's what these early episodes are for, guys. Anyways,
honestly, your camera looks better if you're using your phone.
Yeah.
We might just have to figure out a way for you guys to use your phone as a webcam for your laptop. That way you just have it horizontally.
That might be it.
It's cheapest way. All you need is like a cable.
Well, no, I was thinking about getting a new camera anyway because I need one for work anyway. Okay, my computer. It's saying it's almost there. 94%.
I know I got like a mic that I can also give you. Like I said before, Anthony.
Yeah, I got my professional grade microphone right here.
Yeah, I got 2 other ones upstairs.
I have the other one, but I don't know if it. I don't think it was work. I don't know.
It was old. It was like 10 years old at that point.
Yeah, I don't even think. Yeah, it wasn't even working.
Yeah, I got one that or even I can find one. It's like that I can show you. It's like $20, just as good. But anyway, we were talking about microtransactions, talking about how that is affecting things. The point that I wanted to bring up real quick before we move on, I also think that DLC should also be considered for parts of the game that is contributing to like the bloat size of how big these games are getting. Like, why is Warzone 200 gigabytes? There's
Right.
no reason
It's
it needs to
almost
be
getting
200
there too.
gigabytes.
Some of these sports games are creeping up there because they're getting it's too much. It's too much. You can't expect like how do you expect me to pay $70 for a game and then pay for a battle pass or for a season pass? Like I'm just bringing up 2K for example because that's like literally the one that I can like think of that's really irritating me the most. But it's you tell me I have to pay $70 for this game to get it, just to have ownership of the game. Then you're telling me that I have to pay $20 every 6 weeks just to have any type of just to have you know what I mean just to get accolades to get some of the rewards. I mean, I have an option not to spend that $20, but the rewards that I get are minuscule to what somebody who would pay $20 would get.
And then on top of that, it's
And
taking up most of your freaking hard drive.
right. And
Like,
it's like okay, I get it. I get it. It's for people who don't have enough time or like you said, want to be lazy at the game. But it defeats the purpose of playing the game for its actual intent when you do stuff constantly like that. How do you expect someone to get in and play the game consistently and get better at the game? And you're telling them all you need to do is just spend $100 and you'll be good at the game.
so for me, I think what they need to realize is that the games are getting too big, and the games are not about playing the game anymore. Especially in sports games, the game is about gambling.
Right.
It's crazy to me that there are not gambling warnings in these games when they have legit slot machines, roulette tables, all types of things, and you're betting virtual currency that you get with real currency. It's even worse than trying to go out and actually gamble because you're not really getting anything. you're getting something that is only virtual. So like,
let me just say one last thing.
Yeah.
About that, the gambling side, because there is a game mode in 2K. It's called Ante Up. Ante Up has been in this game since 2K15, I want to say. But Ante Up is basically it's you wager your VC that you have in your account. There's different courts that are around, and they're depending on where you play. Some of these courts could be 500 VC. Some of these courts could be 3,000 VC. And you got guys that constantly strictly play this game mode and will sit and will go on streaks. And if you think about it, if you're playing for 3,000 VC each game, you get 3,000 VC and you win 10 games. That's 30,000 VC that you have. But now if you don't have any VC, or if you get on that court and you lose and that was all of your VC that you have left, you can't do anything with your player. And if you needed to do something, then what's your options? Your options is either playing the game, which it takes too long to do now, and you barely get anything off of it, or it's you go and you spend and you get the whole lump sum of the VC that you need by spending a buku amount of money. It doesn't make sense. There has to be some type of gambling warning. Has to be.
Oh, 100%.
Honestly, I'm gonna just put this out there right now. I feel like that's two different videos right there. You got one that's sport talking about gaming while he's in his 30s and how long it takes to play these games, and then you got microtransactions and how freaking bad they are, especially on the sports side, to the point where it's just gambling. So honestly,
actually,
I feel like we need to flesh those out.
Here's an idea for us for the channel. All right, because we do need to move on, just because we're gonna start running out of time in a second.
Yeah, we're already we spent like 20 minutes on this topic.
Yeah. Rants. Take your camera, stare into the camera, and just say what you're thinking about a subject.
Hey, look, I had the idea already. I had the idea back when remember
We just got to
when
make sure. We
yeah,
just got to
remember
clear it.
when the what was it? The Smile Gate bullcrap with WWE back when
Yeah.
Jordan Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost started do a rant on that, and I thought better of it because that whole situation was definitely not warranting a rant.
Yeah.
But I think you have a good idea, especially with some of the stuff like with the rants that you could have gone on with the Roman Reigns storyline.
Yeah. It's gonna be bad.
Uh,
It's gonna be funny. All
but
right, y'all.
Man,
moving on.
Moving on.
What do we want to talk about next?
It's round 2, y'all.
let's do it.
Here we go. I
Let's
texted
do
it to the group so we all can see the matchups.
Let's see it over
Okay.
here.
We all can see the matchups. We all know what it is. And I texted it, Desmond, if there's a way you can put it on the screen.
Yeah. Let me give me 1 second. If you want to, I'll set that up while you're
While we talk.
Yeah.
Because that way the viewers watching at home. Okay, so the first matchup, international superstars, y'all. It's Antonio Inoki. Anthony, we can't see you. There we go. It's Antonio Inoki versus Jushin Thunder Liger. The father of modern day New Japan versus probably one of the most dynamic performers of all time. Everybody got to vote.
You know, I got to see Jushin Thunder Liger one time in my life.
I saw him live.
I saw him live with you, Sport.
All right.
That's not gonna sway my vote because I do know I don't have the full grasp of like how influential Inoki was, but I do understand that he had a large influence on everything, as did Jushin Thunder Liger. So it's kind of hard for me to this is going to be hard for me because I don't have a lot of knowledge on this front.
All right. So let me give you guys some history and why I'm voting the way I'm voting. The first round is going to be real quick and easy. Antonio Inoki, by the way, when I say the father of New Japan, the entire style of strong style comes from him. The lion mark in New Japan comes from him. When he died, he was a national hero to the country of Japan. He's an influence not just in MMA, in pro wrestling, but also in MMA. I'm voting Antonio Inoki because it'd be disrespectful. Even Jushin Thunder Liger would vote Antonio Inoki. I'm just gonna throw that out there. He's the most influential person in Japanese wrestling. He's like if Vince McMahon wrestled and wasn't a pervert. Because on top of being an executive, he was also a wrestler.
Wait a minute. That's the criteria we go.
That's how I'm putting him. Jushin Thunder Liger, on the other hand, Jushin Thunder Liger revolutionized cruiserweight wrestling. Light heavyweight, high flying, mass wrestlers, all that. Jushin Thunder Liger did everything that the luchadors were doing and then some. He learned from the luchadors. Amazing wrestler, amazing talent. And then he also, like, if you like the demon character, he had one called Kishin Liger, which was the prototype of that character.
I have heard about the Kishin Liger.
He pulled it out against Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, he did. Minoru Suzuki wanted to fight Kishin Liger. He was the first one that really wanted it.
Yeah.
All right. So Who you know?
I don't know. I'm kind of in the same boat with Dez. I mean, some of the wrestlers, I mean, I do know to an extent. I just don't really know of the impact they had outside of North America.
Right.
Because I didn't really start keeping up on international wrestling until about 2018, 19, maybe.
Okay, fair enough.
So a lot of these people, like, I just don't. I mean, I know the names and stuff, and I've heard of them before, but I just never really went back to ever look at the matches and the impact. But I do know a much. I mean, I do know, Antonio was really really influential in Japan, and especially with Thunder Liger and but like you said, definitely. I mean, the New Japan wouldn't be what it is without him. I mean, I may have to. I probably will, put my vote up for Antonio on that one as well.
So let's move on. We got 2 for Antonio. So the reason why we're doing, for those of you listening, can't say greatest wrestler of all time. If we were saying greatest American wrestler of all time, it'd be a different tournament. A lot of people, a lot of names would have made the list. But I get tired of these lists on Facebook and on Twitter and everything else that say greatest wrestler of all time. Then Miz is like number 10. And we've all seen those lists. You know what I mean? Miz is number 10 and Will Ospreay is nowhere to be found. So moving on. Just we're gonna go through these quickly. Great Muta.
Real quick.
Okay. Yeah. It's episode 2, ladies and gentlemen. So next one, Toshiaki Kawada, one of the four pillars of heaven in All Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't expect you guys to know him if you didn't know how much Antonio Inoki did. Versus the Great Muta. We all know Muta. WWE Hall of Famer. WCW. Green mist spitting, scariest mask in wrestling. I'm voting Muta. If
I've seen some of Muda's stuff, so I'm gonna say Muda.
yeah. Okay, here's a fun fact about Muta for y'all. The blood scale of matches is called the Muta scale, based on how much Muta bled in a match in the 90s. Yeah, that's a real thing. The blood, like you can, how much did you bleed on I bled on a 10 on the Muta scale. All right, the next one, Japan versus Mexico. Kazuchika Okada, we all know him, versus Conan, the most influential name in Mexican history. Influential. I'm not saying, actually, no, I'm taking that back. I'm taking that back about Conan. I'm disrespecting somebody later on the list. I'm putting Okada. Okada had my favorite 3 matches of all time. I can't not say Okada. Check. Who's he going up against? Forgot. Alberto Del Rio. I stopped paying attention to that man years ago. Somebody posted on one of my Facebook groups today. I'm gonna respect Alberto Del Rio, the GOAT. The GOAT of what? Beating his girlfriend or drugging her? He's facing Nick Nemeth. Oh, okay. By the way, I'll work on the real.
Okay,
Allegedly.
see, okay, so I might be in the minority with this. Um, I feel like Conan outs. I don't know. I feel like maybe in Mexico he's a really big influence, but I feel like here he was a dud.
He was a dud in America compared, but nobody comes from Mexico right now without dealing with Conan.
That's fine. That's fine. But
He's
it's
like the
like
Godfather.
I, I don't know. I just
I'm
no.
not. I don't think. I
I'm
don't think.
kicking no. I'm
Think
kicking
about.
Conan to the curb. No.
I'm kicking
Uh,
Conan to the curb too. So we all voted Okada.
yeah. Give me
Next
cousin.
one, by virtue, on principle. The man was Max Moon. Next one, the Ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Will Ospreay.
Give me Osprey.
Desmond, who you picking?
I'm going Osprey.
Going Ospreay. All right, Ospreay moves forward. I was gonna say Tana, but that's okay. The next one. The next one, I'm giving you a little bit of an explanation about this person. Next one is El Santo.
Okay.
El Santo. For those of you that don't know, listening at home, think about how big Hulk Hogan was in the '80s.
Oh God, not that weave again.
El Santo would say Hulk Hogan was a shit. El Santo's on money in Mexico. El Santo had 80 movies, and it wasn't like the Rock got movies. El Santo's movies was like, you know how the Rock's movies is the Rock playing the Rock, but he's got a different name. He's supposedly a different character.
Right.
El Santo was literally El Santo. It was like El Santo versus vampires. That was the movie. El Santo was so big in Mexico
It's like Eddie
that
Murphy
his,
and Norbit.
yeah, no, the movie was little like it'd be El Santo versus whatever, and El Santo was the man. El Santo's in the movie Coco. You can see him in the background. That's how big a star he is. He was in Mexican wrestling. So versus Fit Finley. Fit Finley, great, arguably the greatest thing ever to happen to women's professional wrestling in WWE.
Yeah, I was just gonna say his legacy has been greater than behind the scenes than anything he's ever really done in the ring.
In the ring. Yeah.
So this is which do you prefer, modern or historical? And for me, it's hard for me to this El Santo was the name, by the way, when I said that I could not do this tournament and not include some certain people talking about greatest wrestler of all time. El Santo at least needed to get the mention. That being said, his son's a better wrestler than him. I'm voting Finley.
You talking about David Finley?
I'm talking about Fit Finley. Fit Finley's a better wrestler than Fit Finley for me meant more to me. I grew up during prime WWE. Fit Finley versus Bobby Lashley, and Fit Finley versus William Regal. Some of my favorite matches from my youth.
Fit Finley was
I feel like he had a stronger resurgence later on in his career.
Yeah,
definitely did.
Than he did before. But
he was
yeah,
that
I mean, like you
workhorse
said,
that they needed.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he played the heel role really good too. I think, but like you said, I think the impact he had with women's wrestling too. That was a huge, thing because women's wrestling really needed it at that time that he kind of he kind of took over and did what he did with them, especially with this, women's revolution and all of that stuff.
That's actually,
Because
you know
of
what?
shows
Once
that
we
weren't supposed to get on TV and made them some of the most entertaining wrestlers of all time.
100%.
Fit Finlay was one of the people that helped us get one of the greatest, if not the greatest, women's wrestling match of all time, and we got to see it live in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I would say this. I'm going to say, just on influence alone, now, respect to El Santo. Finlay means more to me. Now, if I was Carlito Brock in Mexico, I'm sure I'd say El Santo. But I'm picking Finlay. Moving forward.
just before we get to that, I was just gonna say the talk of the women's revolution. I feel like it's a good final topic for this episode. Once we're done with this segment of the bracket.
Yeah.
All right. Moving forward. Kenta Kobashi. Not Kenta with all caps. Kenta Kobashi. Invented a lot of your favorite wrestling moves. Versus Anthony's favorite. I already know who Anthony's voting for. Minoru Suzuki.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I don't even need to know. I don't even need to know. He's Murder Grandpa is going to go far in this tournament.
Murder Grandpa, baby. Give me Minoru Suzuki over anybody on that list. I'm taking Minoru. All right. Minoru is the only one on that entire list right now that wants smoke. He wants smoke with anybody and everybody. Like we said, that man wanted smoke with Christian Liger. You are out of your mind if you want smoke with Christian Liger. And he laughed.
All right.
Laughed at it. He laughed at it. That man laughed at Christian Liger. No. Give me Murder Grandpa two times on Saturday or whatever that saying is. I'm geeked right now. I can't even think of the saying, but you know what I'm talking about. Give me Minoru.
Minoru Suzuki. All right.
I'm gonna have to say Suzuki. He's swayed me.
Just because of that. Like,
yeah, he said I can't get a better endorsement than that.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Blue Demon Senior, not Junior, versus Johnny Saint. Johnny Saint, former NXT UK general manager, one of the premier professional wrestlers in the 70s and 80s in the UK. There weren't enough UK wrestlers on here. Johnny Saint definitely fits the bill. You know, one of the greatest to ever come out of the UK versus Blue Demon. Blue Demon, so everything I said about El Santo applies to Blue Demon. If El Santo was the face, Blue Demon was the heel. Blue Demon also on money. Blue Demon also had movies. Blue Demon had cars, women, boats. He was living Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair's lifestyle. For real.
Wasn't Blue Demon Junior supposed to have a TV show on Disney Plus?
Yeah, Blue Demon was so famous that his son got a Disney show.
And like Rey Mysterio was going to be a part of it. I don't know. Did that still happen or something?
Blue Demon didn't want to do it because they wanted him to unmask on the show.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah. That was instant.
Stupid. I don't even know why you would even ask a luchador to unmask. That's like
that's just them not understanding the culture, and that's probably why Disney would never be able to buy a wrestling company.
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't understand the culture. I don't think any luchador would ever probably. And I mean, I can guarantee you, I'm probably sure word got around after they did that to a lot of those luchadors, and they probably look at Disney in a different light now. And if Disney were to ever do something with WWE, they probably wouldn't even want to be bothered with it because there's no way you're going to expect a luchador to come to America and unmask. It's just not happening.
If you watch WCW in the 90s, Eric Bischoff made all the luchadors one by one unmask, and it was a terrible, disgusting thing that he did.
Isn't that how we got Ray's
look,
only
Ray's
different
easy,
Yeah,
gimmick.
I'm about to say, yeah, Rey Mysterio was one of them.
Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, Juventud, all of them.
Yeah, Juventud, yeah.
So, but yeah, so no, I'm going Blue Demon just because I feel bad about what I did to El Santo earlier.
I'm gonna have to go Blue Demon. Not because I don't know who Johnny Saint is. I know who Johnny Saint is. But I haven't been able to like. I only know Johnny Saint as the manager. I don't know Johnny Saint as the
wrestler.
as the wrestler or promoter or anything else he might have done in his career. He's kind of if it was like William Regal versus Johnny Saint, it would still be William Regal over Johnny Saint simply because of this. I've seen William Regal work before, so
yeah. So between two people that you've never seen work, you got to pick the one that's more legendary.
Yeah.
All right, the next one. This one's interesting. Mitsuharu Misawa, one of the most influential of the four pillars. If you're a fan of Eddie Kingston, you're a fan of watching Mitsuharu Misawa. They do this, it's the same style. That Kings Road Japanese style, Mitsuharu Misawa was the one that invented it. Versus Ultimo Dragon.
He did die in the ring, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I believe he did. Hold on. I don't know if he died in the ring. I know he died shortly after a match. I don't remember if it was in the ring or if it was.
No, I remember Ultimo Dragon.
Yeah, I remember Ultimate Dragon. Yeah.
Ultimo Dragon, the most successful cruiserweight of all time. Everybody's seen the picture.
I don't know. See, like here's where I draw the line. Because to me, honestly, I don't see the particular hype in Eddie Kingston. I just don't. I mean, that's just me personally. I don't get why. What? To me
you
personally,
better hope Eddie Kingston Bennett finds your location. He'll come and smack the taste out your mouth.
I do not care. I do not care. I do not care.
You know Eddie Kingston be walking around Buffalo too, so
no, I do not care. I don't know. It's just it's just me personally. Like I don't know. I don't see the hype behind. I don't really see the hype behind Eddie Kingston. I feel like he's sloppy at times.
I think Eddie Kingston, if you don't like Eddie Kingston now, you probably wouldn't have liked Mick Foley when he was around.
I think what it is.
I mean, I like Mick Foley. I do. I just don't. I don't see why people throw this big hurrah around Eddie Kingston. It doesn't. It just to me personally, it doesn't fit. Like I mean, I just don't see what catches people's eye. Like that's what I'm trying to find what catches people's eye.
The man is probably fourth best in promos in all of wrestling right now.
I think what it is for people is that he's just realest dude.
He's the realest dude in wrestling.
And that's what people right now gravitate towards people being authentic, being real. That's why this is why Eddie Kingston I feel like earned his flowers with that promo against Cody, because no one knew who Eddie Kingston was. He made you know who Eddie Kingston was, and that's why people respect him today. Now, I'm not going to say that he's my favorite wrestler, because he's not, but I can give him the due respect and say I understand why there's some hype behind it.
So I'm going to tell you something. Anthony might have a point, though, because you want to know what? Eddie Kingston is not the one we're talking about. We're talking about Mitsuharu Misawa.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but I'm just going off of that because he said it's like similar styles. I feel like Eddie Kingston's promos are good, but I feel like that style, he's too slow for me. I hate that. I cannot watch super duper slow wrestling. It just feels like I'm watching a wrestler stuck in mud.
That's how I feel when I see like Tama Tonga or not Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that. Okay, I get your point. Like,
so I think that sounds like Ultimo Dragon's taking the.
Okay, so Ultimo Dragon.
Because let's be real, Ultimo Dragon also has a name, or has a suplex named after him. or not a suplex. He has a move named after him. He has the Dragon Screw leg whip.
He also has the Acai moonsault is named after him.
Doesn't he also? Did he also used to do like a moonsault foot stomp, or was that somebody else?
No, somebody else. But he had the Acai moonsault is named after him. Yoshiaki Asai is his real name. Then he's also got the whip of the dragon is named after him as well. So Ultimo Dragon, moves on moves, names on names, a little bit bigger name in America. Moving on to the quarterfinals of this one, or the the quarterfinals. Antonio Inoki, Great Muta. I'm picking Inoki.
I'm gonna have to go with Inoki.
Okada and Will Ospreay.
Oof.
Ooh.
Okada.
Ooh.
Ooh, you said Okada quick too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Okada.
You don't wanna. You're not down with Ospreay, bruv. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not that big on. To me, Okada, from what I've seen in the 3 weeks that he's been on AEW television, because I'm not that familiar with him, I've gotten more out of Okada than I have gotten out of Ospreay, so I'm gonna have to go with Okada. Ospreay is a fantastic professional wrestler, but you literally
tough,
can't.
but...
He can go. He's gonna have maybe 2-3 more matches that he had, and he's gonna have to take a month's break.
Yeah. All right. Fit Finley versus Minoru Suzuki.
Whoa. Murder Grandpa, sweet. It's a sweet. Get that boy out of here.
Murder Grandpa. I'm actually picking Suzuki too.
Yeah, Murder Grandpa.
All right. Ultimo Dragon versus Blue Demon. This match would be hype if it could actually happen in real life. Two very different generations of mass wrestling.
I don't know.
I'll pick a Blue Demon.
I just don't know because I've only seen Ultimate Dragon.
I'm gonna have to go off of the respect. I have to respect that you're giving him. I can't make a decision off of anything else like that.
Yeah.
So we got to the final four. I kind of know how the final four is about to go. I think.
All right, it's about to
Minoru
go. Murder Grandpa. It's about to be Murder Grandpa.
I should have said that when you said Minoru versus his first opponent. I should have said Minoru gets an automatic bye to the championship.
Is it about to be Okada versus Minoru?
I'm taking over Minoru.
Okay, so Antonio Inoki versus Kazuchika Okada. Kazuchika Okada is Antonio Inoki's greatest student.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it has to be Antonio, because if there was no Antonio, then we don't have Okada.
Yeah. You gotta have the originator.
Yeah.
Minoru Suzuki versus Blue Demon. Minoru Suzuki moving on.
Yeah, get Blue Demon out of here. Bye.
Blue Demon, you had a good run.
You had a good run.
You made it a little further than I thought you would.
Rest in peace, senor. See you later.
Respect to the luchadors.
Respect.
You represented your country well, but you ain't make it. Now we down to Antonio Inoki versus Minoru Suzuki. Ooh. If I'm being honest,
if we're being real,
you better say the right thing, or Murder Grandpa's coming.
Keep it a buck, bro.
You better keep it a buck, or Murder Grandpa's coming.
Oh, keep it in a buck, Antonio Inoki's got to be my vote.
Ash is here.
I'm keeping it a buck. It's Antonio Inoki for me. But then I gotta think about it, right? Minoru Suzuki, the king of pancrase. And you know what? I'll say this. Minoru's, because Antonio Inoki, he worked the match with Muhammad Ali. That was pretty cool too. But Minoru Suzuki has just done so much in the later stages of his career. Like, forget everything he did originally. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about this one.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna feel bad if I'm gonna feel bad.
I'm gonna have to go out and come out and say this. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this. I'm gonna defer to the better judgment because you got Sport that knows all about Inoki. He got Destiny that know everything about Murder Grandpa. So
look, I know everything about both these men. Like I'm hyped for it. Ugh.
it's a match. It's a match that exists, that probably happened, that we would definitely need to go back and watch.
No, this match never happened, I don't think, because Antonio Inoki would have been retired by the time Minoru Suzuki started.
I guess.
Ugh.
I have
sorry,
a purring cat, so
I am a proud and loyal member of Suzuki Gun. So,
Suzuki Gun Ichiban.
yes, Suzuki Gun Ichiban.
Okay, this is the wildest thing I think. This is not the result I thought we would see in this tournament. But Anthony, you've convinced me. Minoru Suzuki is the greatest international wrestler of all time, according to the Rated B podcast. I feel terrible.
But like, okay, real quick. So you look at it. So it's almost kind of the same thing like we said with Fit Finley, right? Minoru has been one of single-handedly the greatest heels, not only in Japan.
He's the international boogeyman of pro wrestling.
Right.
Anybody knows him.
Right. He showed up to numerous. He's came on to numerous shows, and who has he went after? He's went after the number one guy on that show. This man wants any and every bit of puff of smoke from every promotion that he ever steps foot into.
I'm kind of mad that he never did. I'm kind of mad he never made a WWE appearance.
I'll say this:
if he came to WWE, I guarantee you, the first person he's attacking is Roman Reigns. He wants smoke with the whole entire bloodline. I promise you.
Listen, if we're gonna get a Minoru Suzuki match in WWE, if we're only get it one,
we only ever get one.
All right, because I think we're not gonna get to the Women's Revolution discussion today. I think we're gonna hold that off for next week.
Yep.
But if we're gonna get one match. If we're going to get one match out of Minoru Suzuki in WWE, there is only one match that I want to see. Murder Grandpa versus the Ring General.
Oh,
it's happened.
I was about to say that did happen before.
It happened, but I want to see. I want to see the current version. Yeah, I don't want to see. I can see Walter versus Minoru Suzuki. I want to see Gunther.
Okay.
Because Gunther is a completely different beast than Walter ever was. I
want to get this out right now. I'm gonna make a prediction. And this is after Mania. So we're looking at Bash at Berlin. I'm going to go out on a limb and say right now, it is going to be Gunther versus Ilya at Bash at Berlin.
Yep.
And it will be for the Intercontinental Championship. And it will be the main event. And it will be single-handedly the greatest match of the year. Maybe one of the single-handed greatest matches of all time.
You're talking Goku versus Frieza, bro.
Yes. WWE needs to pull that trigger now. Right now. Right now.
They need to bring Ilya Dragunov up anyway. He been in NXT.
Ilya's gonna come up after Mania, and Ilya's gonna go right into the feud with Gunther. Gunther's not dropping that title until Bash at Berlin.
Good. You know what? You know what? You know it works because you know what? If you use the history from NXT UK, Ilya is Gunther's boogeyman. He's the only one that made that man tap out and has only pinned him.
I think you had Gunther beat Ilya in Germany. Gunther was up in Germany when he was Volta.
So was Ilya.
But not the same way. Not the same way, man.
It's look, it's gonna be
when there was Ring Conf, they was huge in Germany. By the way, side note, I think we do need to officially announce Minoru Suzuki advances in the greatest wrestler of all time. So right now, advancing in the final four is Undertaker and Minoru Suzuki.
Yes, I might skip out on that podcast. I don't think I can make that. I don't think I can make that call.
You did this to us.
You're the one that really swayed it. I swayed it with Taker on the last one. You swayed it with Suzuki. It's gonna be when it's gonna be. I don't even want to talk about the modern greats. The modern greats gonna be a bloodbath.
Modern greats is gonna be crazy. That's why modern greats is the last one. Is the last.
Yeah, we're gonna say that one the best for last.
I'm saving that one because I want to. Best Outside is next, and so you know some of the names in Best Outside, and then we're gonna go. Then we gotta wrap this up because it's time for me to take Edith to meet the Easter Bunny.
Yeah. All right. So
here's the names for Best Outside for our fans. All four of you watching on YouTube. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you, Steve, Jim, Debbie.
Who's Debbie? Who's Debbie watching our stuff?
I'm just picking names. All right, so here we go. Here are the names. We got Sting, Taz, Scott Hall, DDP, Samoa Joe, Matt Hardy, Dusty Rhodes, Kevin Von Erich,
God,
AJ Styles, RVD, Kevin Nash, the man called Vader.
Take that paper off of him right now.
The best bout machine, Kenny Omega.
Who let this man cook?
Yeah, who did?
Natural, Dustin Rhodes.
Just all your keyboard, your whole keyboard just needs to pop off.
Harry Punk. And the man that honestly could win this whole thing, Booker T.
Yeah, you're on automatic mute next podcast. You say nothing. You say nothing. You say absolute nothing, or Murder Grandpa will show up at your door.
Next podcast is rough. I think the whole thing got to be the bracket for the next one because we go
sport. You better not say.
Bro, that whole bracket itself is going to be a whole entire podcast. We just need to right now. There's no other topics. It's just that bracket.
Bracket.
You're absolutely right. If anybody try to get off a topic on that episode, I'm personally going to let you walk the NXT parking lot alone.
Actually, for the next one, I might bring Grace down and have her keep us on topic. Well, y'all, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for watching. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on X. Are we on X right now?
We're on. I'm not calling it X. I'm calling it Twitter. We're on Twitter, but Twitter. I don't know. Look, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it a buck. Social media. We're keeping social media just to keep you updated. Do not expect us to interact on there because it is a cesspool.
All right. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on TikTok as long as TikTok is alive. Follow us on Instagram. All right, we'll be there. We'll posting content. Follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is popping. That's where you're going to see most of our content.
Yes, sir. We got things. We got a couple things cooking. I got some things cooking. Sports got some things cooking. Anthony, I don't know if you got anything cooking. You gotta let us know what you cooking in the kitchen, bro.
Anthony got some things cooking. Anthony's sitting here in 3 weeks when we do the final. When we do the finals He's gonna try and figure out how he's gonna justify Minoru Suzuki over the Undertaker. And convince me.
I don't know if I can convince myself, but I'm gonna try my damnedest to make it really convincing. I'm gonna do a lot of tape this week.
But
no, that's okay. But next week, the whole episode is gonna be the bracket because it's better outside WWE. It's gonna be crazy. I just listen to names. The argument is gonna be crazy.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
He's
All
a
right.
name that we grew up on.
All right.
All right, y'all. Have
Everyone.
a wonderful day.
Thank you. See you in the next one.
You're giving me wind and rain.